Hi, this is Allison Blackmeyer, and this video demonstrates how Google Sheets can be a simple but effective tool for tracking broader impacts Office data. As part of an ARIS fellowship, Karen Peterman and I surveyed the ARIS community and learned that the most common platform for tracking BI data was Google Sheets or Excel. We're going to focus on the types of data that the ARIS community members are most likely to track, and we're sharing our recommendations for organizing and tracking this type of data. So here's an example of a very simple sheet for tracking attendance at BI workshops. You would be surprised how many people don't track attendance, and so we thought this was a good example to share. So we have just a few basic fields labeled across the top, including important details of the workshop, like the workshop name, date, and lead presenter. And then there's details about each of the workshop attendees, including their name, department, and a few more. You can see that many of our columns have this little triangle on the side, which indicates that we've embedded a drop-down list of options for those cells. If there's a known set of possible responses for a cell, this is a handy trick that really cuts down on data entry errors. You can see that we set up this spreadsheet so that each attendee at each workshop gets their own row. If a workshop had 10 attendees, then you'd need 10 rows for that workshop. It would certainly be simpler to just have one row per workshop. But if you want to be able to use your data to understand which types of attendees are coming to which workshops, then we highly recommend setting it up this way. And so we can move over to the second tab here, where we have a few pivot tables set up that automatically summarize our workshop attendance data. So for example, we can easily know things like how many workshops each person has attended, which departments are most frequently represented, and which types of workshops have been most popular. Next, we have a spreadsheet to track the outreach provided by an office. We have this example sheet set up to track lots of details about the outreach, like the type of event, when it occurred, and who was involved. And then we also include one possible program evaluation that an office might use. In this case, the engagement survey created by the Science Learning Activation Lab. If you're not already familiar, this is a short and simple validated survey that has been used with both kids and adults to measure their self-reported engagement during a science activity. So if an office decides to administer this or a similar survey after each outreach event, you could then track the average scores for each event in this worksheet. As with workshop attendance, we can also use pivot tables. So we could use pivot tables to summarize the number of attendees reached in different ways. And then we can also look at engagement scores by the type of outreach. Finally, we have an example worksheet that you might use to keep track of all partners. So you'll want to include basic contact information for the partner, as well as other information that might be helpful to know, like their focus area, departments they've worked with, and their interest in helping to host and design programming. And then you can use filters to help you look for partners who might be a good fit for a particular opportunity. So for example, you could search for partners who have a particular interest, let's say in health, and then you would check those. And then who also are interested in co-designing to help you identify the right partner for your needs.